It's Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for action in the Indy Open Series. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gonzo. Welcome to Race First coverage, sponsored by Team Watson Racing setups of Round 5 of the Indy Open Series Championship, coming to you today from the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Joining me for expert analysis in the booth, he drives for the Turn 4 racing team in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series, my good friend Nick Sadiq. So, Nick, this place looks very IndyCar friendly, but we talked about it in the pre-race. It's not. What hazards here that the drivers need to take note of in order to have a successful race here?
Gary, it's good to be back with you again, bud.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
Out there in the IndyCar and Race First universe. Hello. Yeah, this is kind of a dream setup. We talk about how sim racing kind of gives us those opportunities to have kind of dream combination, and this is definitely one of them. Mosport's a smaller track compared to most modern standards. They're going to be doing potentially sub 1 minute laps for qualifying here.
We'll see. Yes.
Yeah, but that being said, you know, it's very sweeping, very old school feel. That 8, 9, 10 complex though towards the end of the lap is going to be very daunting, especially as the tires start to wear out. So, you know, keep an eye on drivers going through there, as well as, I mean, honestly, turn 5 is a doozy. 1, 2, 3 to keep the sweeping right, left, right-handers. It's you're on a knife's edge almost at every corner here, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of skill involved with keeping the balance of the car correct in these behemoths that they are driving out there in the IR18.
Yeah, they are kind of wieldy out there, aren't they? With considering how small this track is.
Yeah, and you know, I will say though, a track like this, you would normally think not a lot of passing opportunities, but we've seen some of these drivers do some incredible maneuvers in some questionable spots, and you know, I use the term questionable loosely just because, you know, a lot of these folks like, you know, Rashad, Anders, Will, Kevin, you know, they know what they're doing. And I think that just adds to the excitement here. So, you know, with them having to do potentially one stop today, and we'll get to that pit strategy stuff a little later. It's going to be very interesting to see who starts on the softer reds, who starts on the harder black primary tires there, and who wants to try to go for that late race pace there.
3750 is today's strength of field. Here's everything you need to know about Mosport. I've been told that they call it not Mosport, but Mosport because of Sterling Moss and the way that he named the corners up at the top of the hill. So I'm just going to go off that. I don't know how true or not that is, but I was told that by a genuine Canadian. So it is Mosport, at least what I've been told. 6 races have been held here during the USAC Champ Car era, 2 in 67, 2 in 68. And then they had a hiatus of 9 years when the series returned for one race each in 77 and 78. The USAC track record here, and we will go ahead and convert the time and speed there of people that have been qualifying to just give you an idea of the now and then aspect of what we got going on. The Flying Hawaiian, Danny Ungaius, has the USAC track record with a speed of 121.983 miles per hour. Look at that. Crushed it by 20 miles per hour. Rashad Craig now, Will Lyon with a 141.469 miles per hour. Here comes Kerry, 142.235. So it just continues to change while we're talking about everything here. The career wins leader here at the facility are Bobby Unser and Dan Gurney. Each have 2, and they won the 4 in 67 and 68. Interesting stat, if you start from the pole here, at least real races, you have an excellent chance of winning here, as 5 of the 6 races were won by the pole sitter. The only race not won by the pole sitter was AJ Foyt in one of his few road course IndyCar wins, where he came to win the race from the 7th position. So that's it. Stand by in the garage area. It's almost time to go racing. And what do we see so far? What do you like in here, what you see so far in these times being set, Nick?
You know, it's a little slower than I predicted. I mean, yeah, I threw out we might get a 59. It would have been like a god lap. But, you know, the parity between everybody is actually really good. You know, Kerry's out there with a .4, with a 101.4. Still a very fast time. Like, that's still a very fast lap in these cars. But Lion all the way down to 12th place right now with Chris Benedetto is all within a second. So it'd be very interesting to see how this translates to their racing setups as well too. It's not going to be like a super high wear track. The track surface is a little older, and there are some weird patches on it. So
yes, there are.
Can contribute to it. But just the nature of the corners, as long as you're not overheating those red tires, they should be able to last pretty well. I think you were in for honestly a banger of a race, especially with a 3750 field. Like,
yeah, no kidding.
Like that's a really good quality field, at least in terms of iRating overall for
and only 15 cars.
Mm-hmm. For a
that's great.
For a track like this, it's like if you run a lot of sports cars, you're gonna have this track, but with it not being a free track necessarily, or at least as common of a track, to have a couple splits is really good to see here with the series.
Well, right now, 47% of you, we've actually improved that number. 47% of you watching right now are not subscribers. So let's change that right now before we go green. Help us on our drive to 1,000 subscribers. If you enjoy Raceverse coverage of the Saturday 2 p.m. Eastern Top Split Indy Open Race and you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us best by subscribing. We have less than 50 subscribers to go to get to the magical 1,000 mark. Actually, it's getting close to the 40 subscriber mark actually now. So help us by hitting that subscribe button right now. We cannot get there without you. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future Raceverse iRacing broadcasts. And now let's get into today's starting lineup here from Canadian Tire. As we start to grid up, let's see who starts to appear first. And then we'll get the starting lineup. There we go. We got Will Lyon going to pop up first here. And let's get into today's starting lineup. And on the pole, Brian Carey. He has a pretty demanding 101.4 over Will Lyon's 101.8 for the pole position. Rashid Craig in the number 4 in the third spot with a 101.8. Zachary Hubler, P4. David Pacelli, just talking with him on Thursday as he was driving the Indy Pro 2000 Series Top Split. Now is helping cover. He is lining up 5th. Andrew Sandberg is 6th. Adam Fraser 7th. Andrew Marquez, we were watching good part of him in qualifying, P8. Kevin Burrell, our man, back in 9th. He's got a bit of a way to go. Ryan Stark there in the Busch M&M's IndyCar 10th. Antonio Mez 11th, and Christopher Di Benedetto in 12th. Sears back in 13th, Baumeister in 14th, and Jensen bringing up the rear in 15th.
Yeah, only 15 cars in this split, but it's going to be 15 cars with a lot of close action just from the looks of qualifying.
Yeah, that's and that might be just how small this course is. A perfect number, really. If we had something like 26, I could imagine that this would be like short track racing on a road course.
Yeah, traffic. You'd be encountering traffic probably within 10, 15 laps. just from the way cars would probably have to fan out. Again, it's gonna be a little bit harder to overtake here than compared to like a place like, I don't know, like Circuit of the Americas or most of your like standard fair grade 1 tracks. This very old school. But God, it's a beautiful facility. Like, I think it's upgrade the safety of some of the walls here. Some of the runoff. Yeah, it'd be amazing.
That corner, that wall right off the final corner of the track there at 10, which I believe they call is that the Whites corner. Yeah, the tire wall is really right there. If you go much beyond the rumble strips, you have a small bit of grass, and then you're right into the tire wall. And that is really, that's when it comes to IndyCar racing, that's kind of too close there. A lot of these other runoff areas, they look big, but it's pretty much all grass. And we know what these cars do with slick tires when they hit grass. They just kind of, they almost speed up, really. Yeah, you'll have to see a lot more kitty litter traps here in order to keep these cars from really impacting these walls. Here we see him coming up the hill into the twin Sterling Moss corners. He helped design this. And you see Brian Carey, our pole sitter, in the Team Power Slide entry. Right behind him, we got two of the IAR stars. They're going to try to run him down, and we got Satellite Racing back there as well.
Yeah, that's one of those spots you were just talking. That wall is so close. Like, yeah, it's a low-speed corner. It's the slowest corner on the track. Well, two corners, rather. But you go off, you drop a wheel, you're done. You're almost done there, so... Yeah,
the Moss complex up there at the top of the hill, if you drop your left rear onto the dirt while you're making that turn, you're absolutely correct. You're going to bring that car around, and... if you're racing someone, chances are you're going to take them out with you because they're going to be right behind you, and there's really no place to go up there.
All right, getting ready to go here, Gary.
Yes.
Give you the call here. I'm very excited to be here for some Open Series action at this beautiful facility.
Pace car is off. Carey waits no time. Green flag in the air. We are underway. Here comes Will Lyon taking a look underneath Carey, going into one down the hill. This is the dangerous part of the point because it gets blind right here. Now we start turning down left, and this is where you see a lot of cars overshoot this corner, go off into the grass.
We had one car off there at turn one. It looked like... I think Chris DiBenedetto actually just sent it right off in...
that's kind of what happens there. Carey taking the set of corners here at the top of the hill in the Moss complex, rather wide. Now we're down the Mario Andretti straightaway where people are going to be hitting that push-to-pass button, and I'm seeing a lot of green lighting up right now. My timing is scoring. Everyone hitting that button, coming down to the S's. And actually, you really don't slow down too much on the S's. You kind of just let off the accelerator, tap the brake a little bit, settle the car down, and turn.
Yeah, you can do a little bit of a downshift there, let the engine braking do its thing, and just keep the car kind of stable. Don't want to change the weight of the car too much there, or if you go over that hill at the wrong moment, you're gonna have a little bit of oversteer.
All these elevation changes, these Indy cars really do not like the elevation changes too much. It either causes them to push badly or get loose on the backside, especially coming up the hill under braking here in the twin turn area for the Moss complex. You will get loose in the backside going up the hill, especially when these tires start to get worn. Right now, speaking of tires, the top two are on the alternate tires. Then the next four behind them are on the prime. So those next four behind them are going to really want to try to keep up with these two. And then as the alts go off, they will definitely want to be able to pass these guys and pull away. But right now, Carey is making little doubt of that right now as he is moving away. He's got himself a just about a 2-second lead already, Craig already, and right at about a 1-second lead over Will Lyon.
Yeah, that group of Craig, Porcelli, Hubler, Sandberg that are on the prime tire, that harder black sidewall tire, they're going to want to try to keep contact like you said. It's gone out to about 3 seconds to Carey, about 2 seconds to Lyon there. If they can keep an envelope of like 4 seconds, hopefully there will be enough tire fall off before... I'm going to assume Lyon and Carey are going to pit as soon as they can, just to minimize any damage and kind of get a little bit of an undercut on the rest of the field to go on to those other tires that they need to. For those of you not quite familiar, you have to run both compounds, the harder and softer compound. tire in this series. A little bit of trade fall off, a little bit of strategy here. But provide great racing.
Yeah.
Looks like we have a battle developing here down in P6 with Anders Sandberg.
Okay, let's take a look at
and
that
Adam
right there.
Fish.
And Sandberg Sporting, our presentation sponsor, Team Watson Racing Setups. Sandberg right now in 6th, Fraser in 7th.
And this is what we were just talking about a minute ago, too. You got 2 different compounds. Sandberg's on the primaries, the harder tire. Fraser is on the red sidewall tire, that softer compound, so he's got to move. If his strategy wants to work out, he's got to get past Sandberg immediately before his pace starts to even out. You don't expect much fall off. In fact, depending on how you push, sometimes you can go a little faster later in the stint if you keep the temps cool with the black sidewall tires before they drop off. But the cliff is massive in terms of the softer tires. Once they start to go, there's no getting them back.
So 5 of 40 already in the books. Never too early to start thinking about the first stop. When do you think the window will open, especially these guys that are on the alternate tires? I would imagine they want to get off them at the earliest opportunity. When is the window open to get to the end here? You can obviously do everything on one stop if you go 2020. Your thoughts?
Yeah, the fuel window, at least from the sets that I had, you're looking at a minimum to make the fuel window about 18 laps, since there's no safety cars here, there's no caution flags in this series. Ideally, you'd want to split it 20 and 20, but if your tires start to go, you want to get off of them as early as possible, especially if you're carry line, like we were saying. That undercut is going to be very powerful with how many sweeping corners there are. If you lose a little bit, 1-2% of your grip, it's going to make a large difference in terms of your lap time. So just look for 18 to about 20, 22 laps on the tires. I don't really think you can go much further than that, but depending on the fuel save and maybe a little bit of downforce settings as well.
Hubler goes off a little wide there, I believe, in Ontario.
Yeah, I was just going to finish my statement.
That's the Quebec corner. Sorry, Quebec corner. What did I say? Ontario. This is where the track is. Anyways, it's Quebec corner. He goes off there, loses the position to Adam Fraser, and that moves Hubler back to 7th. Right behind him is a good friend, Kevin Burrell, who has made his way up a couple positions here. The big mover right here, we'll get the camera on him back in P10. There he is coming through the trees. Charles Sears in the Sears-sponsored IndyCar. Go figure. He has moved up 3 spots up to P10.
Yeah, dropping a little bit of a wheel there at the start-finish line. Just no harm, no foul. Thankfully, the car was going straight there. It's like he's kind of biding his time through 1, 2, and 3 for the most part there. Might be thinking about keeping those tire temps under control here. He is on the softer tires. Going a little wide there. Brings Stark a little closer in that M&M's car behind him. So we might have a mid-pack battle brewing back here as well, too, for these minor positions.
Keep an eye on him. This is valuable iRating points back here.
You have noticed the difference in lines there, too.
A vast difference in lines for a lot of folks.
Yep. It's just a matter of where do you want to compromise. Do you want to compromise your entry and try to get a run and force potentially the driver to make a mistake in front of you? Or do you want to compromise your entry, get that massive gain on the exit? Racecraft 101 right there. And looking back up front, it looks like Kubler got...
lose. Stark loses it coming out of the Moss corners there, and he slides down the hill and the start of the Andretti straight. Made slight tap of the wall. Looks like his left, his left front wing plane is bent, so he is damaged and he might need to stop. It's going to be a little early for him to stop, though, so if he wants to stop and get that fixed, he has a decision to make. To go dive for the pits now, or nah, that's what he's going to do, dive for the pits now.
Yeah, it doesn't look as damaged as it might appear, but I'll tell you what, just kind of looking on the side, that thing is just bent. So, like, if you look on the side, it's going to need a full replacement there. That's definitely a pit stop.
Yep. New wing for the M&M's Dallara. Back up front, team power slide. Brian Carey is up by 3.3 seconds over Will Lyon. Battle of the super squads here in the IndyCar community.
And Carey does have the fastest lap right now as well, too, by about 0.3 of a second at a 102.4. His pace still in the 103s right now. Lyon's last lap also in the 103, a 0.7 to 0.9 between the two of them. But Lyon is losing about 0.2.
Yeah, he lost 0.2
a second a lap.
He lost 0.2 that lap.
I'm wondering if Will might be kind of trying to conserve those tires. Very, very tough first stint, as Adam Crane in the chat actually suggested as well, too. Track temp's 32 Celsius. We've seen higher, but it's still pretty hot. And again, with the nature of these corners and the nature of the surface, it is pretty easy to start to overheat them little by little here.
Yes, for sure. And you'll see that when you overheat these tires, you'll really see them. The evidence of that and the aftermath of that is when these guys under these slow speed corners, and that's going to be at the top of the hill, pretty much, start to accelerate, and that back end scoots right on around on them.
Yeah, looking at these times coming in now, they're evened out. We're already almost to that point of the red tires starting to really fall off now. It's a little bit earlier than I thought it would have been. I thought it would have been another like 2 or 3 laps. But with the track temp staying at around 32 Celsius, it's happening quick. So look for that group of Craig, Porcelli, Sandberg et al. Start to claw their way back to Lyon here. They've only got about a 1.5 second gap to get to Lyon.
There's Rashad Craig on push the pass, trying to close the gap to his teammate Will Lyon in P2. Kevin Burrell gets around Adam Fraser, moves up to 7th, up 2 spots on the day here. Right now, positions 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all on the prime tire. Right now, the 2 positions that everyone wants to catch, first and second, they are scooting away with those alternates on right now. But right now, like I said, Rashad Craig is trying to close that gap as we are getting relatively near to where the window for the pit stops might begin to open up here, probably in the next 4 to 6 laps.
Yeah, they're going to want to get off of those tires as soon as possible. It's just going to keep compounding to just it's the nature of the track too. You lose a lot of grip. Again, Adam, thank you. At vertical aero load, yeah, it's killer. I didn't even think about in terms of how that affects the tire model, but a resident community encyclopedia of knowledge here definitely is absolutely right. They're gonna start to fall off very quickly.
Is that
here.
our Jan Bekus in chat there?
Yeah. Rashad close right up to Will there. I just want to kind of point out now, these two teammates, they have a history in the IIS, in the IndyCar iRacing Series. These two came together, battling at Chicago on a very similar strategy.
Well, truth be told, a lot of people came together at Canada or at Chicago. But we got Craig now on the outside, down the Andretti straight, coming down to the S's. He is on push to pass. He has the advantage. He is by Will Lyon and into the S's and gets the lead, and that moves Craig up to P2. That's exactly what he wants now with these tires.
That speed differential, I would even think that without push to pass, he would have been able to possibly make that move, just getting into slipstream and then popping out there. But yeah, good drive by Craig. Now just a good chase down through the end of the stint, hopefully.
So, real quick programming note. Speaking of the Chicago street course, I think I've called the most IndyCar races there now out of anybody in the community. I think I will be calling my 4th IndyCar race there coming up here on November 3rd. We'll be covering for the National Racing Network guys as they cover the ESRA race there on Thursday, November 3rd. And check NRN their channel on YouTube, and NRN, and actually Will Lyon getting passed by David Porcelli now. So Will Lyon may be going to conservation mode. I don't know. We'll see. Well, as these pit stops get closer. But yeah, and then I found out that I probably am going to be calling a 5th race from the Chicago Street Course in another series here at some point. So apparently I am your voice of IndyCar at the Chicago Meme Course.
You know, I am thinking about going to that NASCAR race though. That's gonna be an amazing time. That would be a good little mini vacation too. But yeah, we will look forward to more of that track developing here. It's actually not as bad as with these cars as I thought they'd be. But right now we got Lyon just starting to plummet. Perry's starting to lose time as well too, and that he even had the clean air. About 3 seconds to Craig.
Yeah, Craig is, last time by, Kerry a 103.9, Craig a 103.5, so almost a half second quicker that time.
It's going to be really interesting to see if Lyon falls back to Sandberg before pit stops. He's going to have a large hill to climb, even on the more optimum race tire coming up. So, you know, that's going to develop there. That's the key, I think, for Will, is do not drop behind Sandberg. Defend with your life. And for all means, Will, please. If you're Will Lyon, I know you don't like to use those push to passes until that last stint, but you might have to burn a couple just to save yourself.
Yeah, he does. And Sandberg that time by a 103.6 versus Lyon a 104 flat. So this is something developing as we are watching right here on the race course. A battle for the top 5. Inside the top 5 is starting to brew. If you're just joining us, this is race first coverage of the Saturday 2 p.m. Eastern top split of the Indy Open Series, sponsored by Team Watson Racing Setups, coming to you from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. We have completed approximately half the distance here, about 17 of 40 laps. If you're enjoying race first coverage of today's race and would like to monetarily support our commentary team, make sure you donate via our GoFundMe link in the description. For your convenience, you can do so and not lose track of any of the action. All you have to do is right-click on the link in the description, over to our GoFundMe page in another tab, and make your donation. When you're done submitting, close your tabs. You'll be right back with us. It's just that easy. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully, wherever it is on this Saturday, it is a glorious fall day, or fall-looking day. That's kind of what it's looking for me. Blue skies and trees are starting to change. But not here in the sim. Everything's bright and green.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful Canadian day here at Mosport. Keeping an eye on Lyon, about a second, 0.8 now to Sandberg. And as I say that, Lyon's dipping into the pits, cannot take any more. He is tapping out.
Yep, we're watching him right now. Not a very good, we don't have very many good angles there in pit road. Another car on pit road. Adam Frazier, I believe, is also on pit road. No, that's not Adam Frazier. Charles Sears on pit road. Will is down and away.
It's right at that lap 18 mark right there, so definitely the upper limit of your fuel strategy. So
I think
you're be good to go. There
I think
shouldn't be any.
In the pre-race, you're saying 23-ish is kind of what the number is?
Yeah, you can do like 22, 23. It's going to depend on how much you're pushing. I mean, Will's going to be pushing pretty hard. Oh, as he locks up.
Will! And that is cold tires, folks.
Old tires, harder compound. Well, they're warm now. That's for sure. Probably not balanced as well, but no, he's on it. He knows he's got to go. This outlap's got to be something good. These first 1-2 laps, but that is not gonna be optimal for Mr. Lion here, pushing.
Trying to make times coming out of the pits.
Yeah, Brian Carey's in as well too.
And he is done, and he's away.
Out.
Yep. He's ahead of Will Lyon, but that's kind of not surprising. He was on the racetrack anyways, and then Will had that incident, or moment. That's not an incident, a moment at the top of the hill. This is a really... I'm not a... my road course skills are not very good, but this is a fun corner right here to take it in IndyCar. If you take it right, you really can take it all in one turn.
Like the back part of Road Atlanta too, that double right-hander that goes onto the backstretch. It's a little bit tighter than that, but it's same kind of idea. You get it right. God, it's really, really, really oddly satisfying to get the proper speed out.
Just at Road Atlanta 2 weeks ago in the FIS. Check that out. Caleb Binsey was your winner, where they went into the wee hours of the early evening, actually. And the only lights shining were the lights at the portable lighting rigs that they had at that racetrack. That was the only light shining on the course. They pretty much finished that race at dark. That was interesting. But now we are at the halfway point. Craig is your leader. There he is. Porcelli P2, Sandberg P3, Hubler P4. Kevin Burrell moving up to P5, Marquez P6. Amos 7th, Carey 8th, Lyon 9th, Fraser 10th. We have 2 cars out, Di Benedetto, I'll say that right, and Baumeister out. They are now classified in 14th and 15th. Jensen now out, classified in 13th. 12 cars still running, 11 on the lead lap. Charles Sears is the last car on the lead lap at the moment.
Yeah, Porcelli and Craig out front right now. Still in that 103 bracket. Craig actually had a 103.3, so less than a tenth his fastest. That's what we were talking about too. The pace does not really fall off until the very end of the tire life for these, as long as you keep the heat in the proper window here. And Craig is absolutely keeping that optimum. Porcelli's very strong in that last sector, though, too. So that 7, 8, 9, 10 complex of the finish line, he's making up most of the time that he might lose. But they're not fighting. They're just running in each other's slipstream and kind of just biding their time, knowing they have to work together. As Carey drops a 102.9. on the last lap here.
Yeah, let's go back and take a look at Brian Carey. And he is on the and he's doing that on the prime tire. In fact, everybody right now on the racetrack is on the prime tire.
Let's see if either of any of the leaders pit here, or if they can go do another lap. Craig out, Porcelli in. So Porcelli boxing. Right at the beginning of lap 22 here. Have a gaggle of cars just go past him. Hubler, Sandberg, and Burrell all together fighting for, I think, net 5th position? After stops are done. Or beginning lap 23, I meant for Porcelli. My apologies, I just realized what I said. So he's out and away. Got to be careful on those cold tires, especially
yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on him, but he is right behind Brian Carey, and he is on the alternate tires. So this is going to be a battle that's going to quickly develop once these tires come up to speed.
Overcut kind of working for them. Oh, no! Oh! Oh, he hit the wall.
It's the same spot. The same spot. In fact, Will Lyon capitalizes and passes at the same spot. Man, I feel gutted. I feel gutted for him.
I'm not gonna call commentators curse on myself there, but I know,
but I feel gutted for him nevertheless. He was in a good position. Let's see if there's any damage on that car.
Yeah,
I think he's good. I think at this point you got no choice. You just got to run it out.
Yeah, you got to run it out. He's got a tiny bit of wing damage on the left upper plane. He also has a tiny bit because of the way the car bounced on his left side pod. It's a little bent.
And we got a battle brewing right here for 4th. Will Lyon has caught up to Hubler. Hubler not really on the exact same pace as the cars behind him. Hubler actually is out of the pits just recently, so he's trying to bring these tires up to temperature and not cost himself, there we go, a position up into the Moss complex.
A good defense there by Hubler on Lyon. Tires are going to be close to being up to temperature here coming through the last complex of corners on these softer tires, so it's going to be, again, I use this analogy a lot, but it's going to be like almost like a cycling pursuit. He's going to go out ahead. And Lyon's just got to kind of bide his own time as Hubler goes past Burrell in the pits. Lyon as well. Burrell coming out right now.
Now we'll watch this battle because Burrell now, he's got to try to keep up with Porcelli, who may or may not be damaged. Probably is damaged a little bit. And if it's slowing him down, it's going to hurt his pace to bring those tires up to speed for Burrell. Right behind him, Anders Sandberg, his tires are now up to temperature after being on the track for a full lap. He is now wanting to try to get this position. So this is a tight battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah.
In fact, you were just saying a little while ago, the whole bottom portion of the top 10 from 4th on back is in a battle right now.
Yeah, Porcelli is definitely suffering some understeer. Definitely lost some front downforce there. And then on some of those corners, too, depending on how the load is, he's going to have some tire lockup as he almost goes wide out of the last corner. Damage isn't affecting him as much as I thought it would. You just have to get some adjustment there. But yeah, it's bringing this whole group together. They're all wadded up here now.
Through Quebec corner. Taking a look on the inside coming up the hill. Now he's going to take a look to the outside up the hill. Now he's going to take a look to the inside coming out of these final set of corners. That's 5A and 5B at the top of the hill there.
But
now Burrell on push to pass, and he has used a liberal amount of them already at this point in the race. He is down to 3. And he's by.
Just gonna say too, I was like, if you're Burrell's spotter, you gotta be telling him push. Like, this is going to slow you guys down. Your tires are going to fall off. You know, keep contact with Lion. Hope that something happens with Lion before he gets more than 2-3 seconds out, because the last, I think I'm going to say the last like 4 or 5 laps are going to be struggling here.
Well, Rashad Craig is your leader after we did the pit stops. He has made the jump, and now is a good time where we will go side by side and get a quick word from our friends at Team Watson Racing Setup. We'll be right back. I want to thank Team Watson Racing Setups. Visit Team Watson Racing Setups, or excuse me, TeamWatsonRacing.com for all the setups you need for the Indy Open Series, season, and more. Use the code WATSPIN39, WATSPIN 39 for 5% off your next purchase. We want to thank James Watson and his team for their ongoing support of our Indy Open coverage this season. Now back up to our leader, Rashad Craig. I've been told it's Rashad. Oh man, I always keep saying Rashid, but it's Rashad. So it's my fault, my mistake. We'll add another quarter to the jar every time we mess that one up. But Rashad Craig is your leader by 2.5 seconds over our pole sitter, Brian Carey.
Yep, Carey is right on that window of just keeping them close. If you recall, Will Lyon had about a 3-second gap max to the group behind him before the tires started to fall off. So as Craig is going and starting to actually run into a little bit of traffic here, will he be able to pull out enough of a lead to survive here with the overlapping strategy coming up? About even on lap times last time by. Just about a 1/10 of a second gain for Craig. And
Craig is experiencing lap traffic at the moment now. Ryan Stark, who is on the very tail end of the lead lap, currently in P12, has the leader right on him, and Craig's going to want to make easy work of this if he can, but we've talked about this before. There's not very many options to pass around here. There's places where you can extend it, but there's not very many places where you can very easily pass someone under braking. That's going to occur here at the top of the hill if he can get into a position, or if Stark just moves over and allows him on by on one of these straightaways, and I don't think he's going to allow that right now. So Carey looking at an opportunity to close the gap with some slower traffic currently in the process of impeding our leader.
No, it's one of those opportunities that kind of presents itself when you're a lapped car and you're trying to be courteous. Just the nature of those corners does not lend itself.
Yep, Craig on push to pass on the outside, coming through the S's, pulls it off. Move Craig past the lapped car of Stark. Stark raced him very clean, and he wanted to stay in the lead lap. I don't blame him. So he will try to continue to race hard as he now separates P1 and P2, currently on the racetrack.
Be very interesting to see where Carey runs into Stark as well, too, because that can make the difference in the race as well. Did not really cost Rashad that much time. Just about a tenth and a half last time by. So all in all, he's making pretty good work of that strategy that he's on right now. But as we get into the last 10 laps of the race here, it is going to develop very quickly. Give it about another 4 or 5 laps, we're going to hit a crossover point again, where those soft tires that Craig is on, that Hubler is on, and the Burrell on back group is on, they're gonna start to fall off. So the story is gonna be who staved the most tire, and then of course can Brian Carey chase that rabbit and get back to Rashad Craig before the checkers come out.
Currently watching a battle for the bottom step of the podium right here between Hubler, Lyon, and Burrell, each separated by less than a second. Real quick, I got a broadcasting note. Do want to get out there on November 19th. The Indy Open Saturday Strength of Field broadcast will conflict with the Open Wheels 500. So in an effort to remove as many conflicts as possible for the iRacing IndyCar community, Raceverse is looking to reschedule our broadcast that weekend. Options are to move the broadcast to Friday or push the broadcast back a couple hours later on the day on Saturday. We are currently discussing these options and others with several participants now on our Raceverse Discord server. If you have some feedback and you would like to offer anything to the discussion as we watch Will Lyon getting a position for third over Hubler, feel free to join our Discord server. An invite link can be found in today's broadcast description. And you can join the discussion to find out when we want to reschedule. Right now, it's looking like it might be a Friday. Early evening type thing. So if you have any input, we'd be welcome to hear it. Feel free to jump in the Raceverse Discord and talk about it. We're back in the action here. Will Lyon now P2. Hubler on a set of... I believe he's on the alternate tires. They're now starting to give way as those that are on the slightly harder tires are now starting to make way.
Yeah, those fell off quicker than I thought they would. I mean, thought it was going to be another couple laps before they really started to fall off, but a half a second, 0.8 of a second, Carey gained on Craig, so he's looking. I hear him just on the onboard right now of Craig, and I can hear the cars of, I think that's still Stark, too. Yeah, Stark and Carey both.
Oh, as those, those red tires are now giving up.
That's earlier than I thought they would have even, like I said.
And Craig 10 laps into his stint, so not very long, but we know that those alternate tires do not last very long. And it's opening the door now because Stark, he is 14 laps into his current stint, and he's kind of right into the sweet spot for those prime tires. Brian Carey is 15 laps into his current stint, so obviously you can see between these two how their pace is pretty close because their tires are about the same age. He's going to move over and let Carey go, so very good sportsmanship there on Stark's part. Kevin Burrell getting around Hubler in the S's.
And we got battles developing all over the track here.
So that is Kevin Burrell, move him up to fourth. He is up 5 spots on today's race. 6 laps to go. And this battle for the lead is where all eyes are focused at the moment.
Gonna say it's one thing to catch, it's another to pass, though. It's really tough. They both have the same amount of push to pass as well, too.
Yep.
So
just getting ready to mention that. Oh, look how much Carey makes up in braking there as he reaches the top of the hill. Let's bring up the track map again for people that don't know the facility. That's turn 5.
Like he had to compromise his exit, though. He was really trying to get in that mirror of Craig there. Craig defending really hard, goes back to the outside. Carey's going to send it.
Sending the S's, backs off. And wisely so. I mean, he has 6 laps, coming to 5 laps to try to get this done. Going through corner number 10. He's right there, thought about setting it, didn't do it. 1 is not a good place to pass. He could try to set it up for coming down the hill. This is Clayton. Clayton corner.
Just trying to force Craig into a mistake.
Oh.
Craig's really having to compromise his exits just to be able to hang on here.
This is Quebec corner. Now he is on him. He's got to have the position to the inside. This is the preferred position going up the hill. On the outside, locks it up. Nope. Nope. Stark gives him room. Down the Andretti straight. Carey on push to pass. One less. He got one push left. Rashad Craig on push to pass. Side by side, and Carey gets it.
Craig had a really bad exit. Had a little bit of wheel spin out of 5B there. Just the tires are getting lit up really bad. There's not much you can do to defend that if you don't have the exit speed. Push to pass or not. That moves Carey into the lead and already out to a half-second gap. And now, it's deja vu again. Lyon coming back on Craig. Lyon might be chasing down Brian Carey as well, too, because if anything, that battle brought Will back into the forefront, potentially.
Last lap by, and mind you, Craig and Carey were racing. Will Lyon a 102.9. A 102.9 versus Carey a 104.1. Craig a 104.8.
Oh, just that difference. Like you said last lap, that difference in braking. And Craig's really having to be conservative in the hard braking zones.
And now down Andretti straight. Craig stays low for his teammates. Not on push to pass, but he doesn't really put up the fight with his teammate. Will on push to pass. Will is firing him off now, Mario Kart style, as he's down the 3 here in the closing laps.
This is going to get very interesting very quick. Less than a second now. Tell you what, that early lap, I thought it might have been a little too early for Will, but you know, him getting that undercut on everybody else kind of made him gain ground with those more warmed up tires. Kind of silently worked his way back to second place and in the hunt now.
Yeah, we saw him falling back at the end of the first stint, right about 5th place or so. So he's fought his way back up to P2, and he's on push to pass again. And last time by, Carey a 103.6, Lyon a 103.1. Yeah, 7/10 to the leader right now. 7/10. And you watch him close. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We're kind of in the drone view right here, and you can watch him close through the S's, how much faster he was.
6/10 now. Lyon's going to be able to make a little bit more ground up on that back straightaway out of 5. He's got an extra push to pass that he can use. He's got one for each lap. Carey only has the one to defend with.
Yeah, he's going to save that until he needs it. Go back to just take a peek at... Oh, no, we're not going to move from here. I was getting ready to... Will got an excellent launch. They're both on push to pass down the Andretti straight.
Yeah, Will's so good into 5 in that braking zone. Carey
right
defending.
Carey goes a little wide, gives him just a wider car. Nothing negative there. Kind of causes Will to back out of it just a tick. Now, here's the situation. Carey is Winchester on push to passes. That means he is done. He is out. He has no more. And one left here for Will Lyon. One more shot at this on the final lap here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This is going to turn into an exciting finish here. They come through Clayton and the Quebec.
Don't be surprised. Carey kind of parks it on that apex of 5B here. Tries to stall out Lyon. No, Lyon's trying to set up the run, though. Oh, Carey goes really wide with wheel spin.
And Will's on push to pass.
Will had a little bit of wheel spin as well, too.
We're going to ride on board Will Lyon. I've called him Willpower before. He's like, thanks. On the outside of the S's. Coming to the checkered flag through the S's. On the outside. Still there. He's still there. And Carey pulls ahead just a little bit. Carey's is waggling a lot. He comes to it. Oh, he pushes him out of the way. And Will Lyon is your winner. He lets him by. And I understand why he did that.
Yeah, no live stewarding here in the IndyCar Open Series, but that was good sportsmanship by Will there. I don't think I mean, he did everything he could have.
Yeah.
Whew. Wow, what a finish!
It was a finish, and my excitement got tempered when he decided just to let him on by. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's probably the sporting thing to do there at the end. So congratulations, nevertheless, to both of them for a fantastic last lap, and all that. Rashad Craig also finishes third. Let's get the final classifications up for today's race. Brian Carey is your winner. Lyon goes ahead and concedes the position there at the start-finish line to because of the contact to give the win to Carey. Will Lyon finishes P2, Rashad Craig P3. So a good day for IAR into 2 and 3 position. Zachary Hubler, he was kind of up there all day long, and we watched a good portion of his run. And very solid P4. Kevin Burrell fighting up 4 spots, and he finishes 5th. So another top 5 for Kevin. Anders Sandberg in the Team Watson Racing setup car. P6, David Porcelli. Fortunately, looks like he was sporting damage right after his last pit stop, or his only pit stop. Brings it home 7th. Marquez, a very quiet 8th. Fraser 9th. Charles Sears 10th. And the remainder of our 15-car field here. It was a small lineup today for the top split. Amez, Stark, Jensen, Baumeister, and Di Benedetto rounding out your top 15.
I am still that was still excitement every time we do a broadcast together, Gary. I swear, there's always a grandstand finish or some sort of controversy, and thankfully cooler heads kind of prevailed there, and Carey definitely was the class of the field. Lyon had an amazing drive too, but Carey was just out front, just nonstop. Had the setup dialed in, had the course dialed in.
Right.
And he's your winner.
Yeah, waiting to see if anyone might pop into the interview room. See if maybe someone will. And I think everyone might be just a little exhausted after all of that. We shall see. And if that's the case, I don't blame them. And it's and I don't know where they're located, but it is a glorious Saturday afternoon where I'm at. So I think I want to get outside, and it's not quite time to rake leaves yet, thank God, but
soon though. Soon. Looking out at the trees outside, they are yellow and like golden orange as well. So it is nice fall day out here in the Midwest, and hopefully, like I said, wherever you are out in the world.
All right, let's check interview room one more. There we go. We got some people. We got Rashad Craig and Will Lyon here. We do want to definitely talk to Will. That is the going to be the elephant in the room, but we will get him next. We'll bring up Rashad right now and bring him in. Hey, Rashad, we got you here with myself and Nick. Looked for a while like he had the strategy to beat, but the tires just didn't last it for you.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew I was going to end up on third. It was more just like if I could, how much could I help Will?
Yeah,
kind of where that was going. The Reds kind of really die off towards the even towards the middle they start dying off. So it was more. I was surprised how long they did hang on. That's why I was kind of going for it to see if maybe I could hold it. But as soon as I started losing a bunch of time to Brian, I kind of just was like, all right, help Will out. Maybe he can take the win. If not, just hold on to P3.
Nick.
Yeah, Rashad. That I was honestly kind of taken aback with how quickly it felt like that second stint, the tires actually fell off more. It might have been just pushing a little bit faster, having more load in the tire. That being said, P3, very small but very capable field here. Do you feel good about the 2-3 finish from your team overall here, especially with the field that's here?
Oh yeah. Like it's Mosport is a very hard track, so it's a lot of it comes down to qualifying, because it's you only get the dirty straight to pass. So it's like you qualify well, and I did lose a little bit of time in qualifying just to make sure that I didn't die. But after that, it's kind of just hold your place. Some earlier races I did during the week kind of gave me a good indication of how other people's sets were going to be and how they were going to race. So for me, it was more of a thing, just get to the end, finish, make no mistakes, and just finish on the podium pretty much.
Well,
Sure.
mission accomplished if that's the case, and a good being a good teammate there as well. That says a lot. The type of team player that you are. So congratulations on the bottom step. Go enjoy the rest of your day. But before we let you out of here, I'm sure you got shout outs and people you want to thank.
Oh yeah, thanks to friends, family. It's actually your grandfather's birthday today. Just pop in, squeeze in a race right before we go out.
Happy birthday, Grandpa Craig.
Yeah, happy birthday, Grandpa. Yep.
And thanks guys for broadcasting again. It's real nice having multiple splits to race the car here. It's real fun.
Well, congratulations again. Go celebrate a birthday, and we'll see you at Phillip Island next week.
All right, thanks guys.
Bringing up Will Lyon. Hey, Will, how you doing? I am guilty of calling you Willpower one more time during the broadcast, but he won the NTT IndyCar Series championship, so it's nothing but a compliment. Nothing but a compliment, yeah. But the elephant in the room, of course, we were calling. Actually, we were riding on board with your final lap. We were over your shoulder, or over your head, as you came out of turns 5A and 5B there at the top of the hill, going down the Andretti Straight. We were watching that final attempt at the pass, and you nosed them, and then you just kind of not quite pulled a Schumacher, but you just slowed down and gave the position back to Kerry like a gentleman. It kind of stunted my excitement there at the end, but in hindsight, really, it was a gentlemanly thing to do. Your thoughts on everything leading up to what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Brian clearly had the pace on me there. I think he just got held up a lot by one of the back markers, and Rashad, I've got to thank him as well, because I think he battled Brian when it was always going to be a lost cause, because Rashad's tires were dying at that point. So if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been anywhere near Brian anyway. But yeah, I think he had a little wiggle, or he went wide in Moss on the penultimate lap, and I got pretty close. But I thought he's gonna have a push to pass on the final lap. I won't be able to threaten him. But I got in the tow, and I went alongside on the outside, and I maybe gave him a little bit too much room. The thing is, I'm not fighting for a championship or anything, and I thought we're on opposite sides of the globe, so I gave him a little bit too much room. But I don't think I would have been able to do it anyway, even if I had sort of held him in against the curb a bit more. And then obviously he goes in a little bit hot there on into the final, or the penultimate corner, runs wide, and of course because of that he kind of has to park it on the apex to stop me getting through. And I tried to do some sort of little switchback, but yeah, it didn't quite work. And then I've just nudged his rear end there. I mean, it looks like a bit of a dodgy iRacing netcode / contact system. I don't want to make excuses, but in real life, I don't think that would have happened. It would have been just a little nudge, and we both would have crossed the line.
Right.
One by one. So, apologies to Brian for that, but I wasn't going to win it in that way. So, I just obviously slammed on the brakes. I thought, oh God, I haven't crossed the line, have I? And just let him through. But that was good race. It was fun. I didn't have a lot of battling, but it was good to have different tire strategy. And I think mine was perhaps just ever so slightly slower, and I think I got a little bit lucky with where I came out from the pits as well. So I think the other strategy probably was quicker, but I wouldn't have had anything for Brian anyway. So yeah, happy days, good race.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, that was. It's been like a month since I've done a broadcast, and Will, you always somehow find a way to bring the heat in the closing stages of a race whenever I'm around. So thank you for that, and I'm sure the viewers appreciate that as well.
Gary always has a go at me for not using my push to pass right until the end. So I thought, well, this time I'm going to show him. I'm going to show him why I leave it to the end. So yeah.
I actually mentioned that too. I was going to mention that earlier. But I guess that brings up the question of, do you feel that the meta in this car, especially in the open length of races, with them being a little bit shorter than like IIS or full length, do you think it pays dividends to have them for that money stint, that second usually stint in the race?
I mean, you should always use them where you think it's best, and every situation is different. But I think my belief is, well, the thing, I just hate being overtaken at the end of races. I hate dropping down the order, and so I would always rather be on the attack at the end of a race and have the better tires, the better push to pass, and so it's kind of it's in my hands. The destiny is in my hands, so I've got the ability to shape the most important part of the race at the end. But obviously, if somebody's in front of me and I need to use a push to pass to get past them because they're slowing me down, then obviously I'll use it. But I just think I always have the philosophy, I want to be on the quickest tire at the end of the race, and I want to have push to passes to burn if I need them. So yeah, that's it really.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
So Will, Pat, any shout outs anyone want to say hi to?
Yeah, big shout out to Rashad, who's built a really, really nice setup for this track. It's really hard to keep the rear tires alive, but he's done a great job. And it's a bit of a shame. He should have out-qualified me, and I wouldn't have been in this position. He would have been fighting with Brian for the win. So yeah, big shout out to him and the rest of the team in the Alliance.
A good day for the team and a good day for both of you. Congratulations to Will Lyon on the P2 today. And hopefully we will see you at Phillip Island.
Yep, see you there.
Yeah. We really just need to nickname him like Will Power Lion or something like that. I mean, just get it over with. Let's bring up Brian Carey with Team Power Slide. Hey, Brian, got you up here. Team Power Slide's Brian Carey with the win today. Your thought of what happened there at the very end there, and then tell us about the rest of your race.
Just quite simply, Will Lyon's an awesome dude. Just flat out.
Yeah.
Much respect for Will. So cheers to Will. I mean, that was an awesome race with him. I can't believe he caught up to me like that. But nothing but respect for Will there.
Well, go ahead and tell us about the rest of your race. Certainly that you didn't come out ahead of as many folks as you thought you would at the end of your first stint. And certainly as that first stint developed for everyone else. What were your thoughts when you saw Rashad out in front of you? Just think it was just a matter of time before you had to catch him? Or did you really think that was going to be a problem trying to run him down? Especially, I think, at one point you guys had a lap car between you two.
Yeah, actually, so before we got to that lap car coming out of the pits there, I mean, I was hopeful I could get out ahead of Rashad. So what I noticed first is, because I think David pitted the lap before Rashad, he came out behind me, and then I saw him go off at Moss, so I kind of took a sigh of relief there. I'm like, all right. I was expecting, plan was, knowing the tires, that the both of them I thought were going to come out ahead of me. So the fact I got ahead of one of them was good. And it was going all according to plan until we got to that one lapper there.
Yeah, that's actually leads right into the question I was going to ask too. It probably was a little bit awkward to deal with the back markers, but how much did you feel like that affected your pace going forward? Did you feel like you would have been fine and not had Line battling you at the end there if you would have been able to clear both him and Rashad early, or do you think Line still would have caught you because he was on a flyer the last 5 laps?
I mean, it's hard to say. He was closer than I thought. But I mean, honestly, there's two things: is he was costing me a lot of time. So probably a good 3 laps. I was about half a second slower than I should have been. Also, too, I burned 2 push passes trying to get past him on the back straight. He just stuck right in Rashad's wheel tracks and drafted him the 2 times there. So I if I had those that push to pass, I ran out on the last lap there. So had I not have run out, I probably would have cleared Will before getting that final corner. We wouldn't have got into that situation coming off the last corner anyway. So it would have been close, but there was no way Will would have been in a position to hit me like that. Not his fault, obviously, at all. That was just, I was slow off the corner. So that was a huge impact, that lapper.
Yeah, well, great defense there. That was I thought you were gonna park it on 5, but you parked it at the last corner, but it worked out for you. And you know, sportsmanship prevails, and this is why I love this community and I love these IndyCar series in general. So congratulations, Brian. Give a shout out to the team, any sponsors, whoever you'd like, loved ones, etc.
Just my partner Karina. She wasn't here to watch this one, so we can pull it up in the broadcast later. So appreciate that for you guys. But the Power Slide team, we've been working hard on some stuff. We're looking towards open wheels in November, so we're pretty excited about that. And just like, you know, Alex and Rob and Adam and Hugo, Wilson, Andrew, the rest of the guys, like, we've been, you know, trying to improve the car on a road course, and it looks like we're getting some speed. So hopefully we can start applying that in this season and seasons forward.
Well, congratulations on the win. Phillip Island is next. We hopefully will see you there. Thanks for jumping in the chat and joining us here for the interview, and enjoy the win.
Yeah, thanks, Gary, Nicholas.
All right, there you have it, man. You were right, man. When Nick Sudik is in the booth, he brings the excitement for the race somehow.
Yeah, it's not kind of startled at that. But you know what? It's fine. It's good racing, and like I said too, it was really, really awesome to see. You know, Will and Brian were there at the end. It was a weird situation. I think there was a little bit of net code between them looking back on the incident, but you know, Will was trying to get a run. Brian was trying to keep it like neutral and not show which way he was going.
I don't fault anybody in any of that. If you go back and look at it, and then certainly from the point of view where we had the camera, you can't tell if it was netcode or not. It just looked like close racing. But I think we had the camera shot to kind of show what Will was looking at when he was trying to make that pass, and it was going to be incredibly difficult anyways, but exciting nevertheless. And you're right, man. This was a great race.
Yeah, let's hope that in some way we can come back here in real life at some point. That would be incredible. Kind of a pipe dream, I'm sure, but this track, especially from a strategy standpoint, is absolutely mint, and it provides great, if not in terms of side-by-side battling, the strategy kind of plays out towards the end, and you don't have to have passing to have a great race, and this kind of proves it. We even got a little bit of passing towards the end, so phenomenal.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure we'll ever see IndyCar ever race here again, especially with how cheap it is to put on a street circuit in downtown Toronto. But I agree with you. It would be nice someday to see the IndyCars do something here, exhibition, whatever. But it was a great race, and I hope everybody at home had a great time watching it. So that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Canadian Tire, Brian Carey. He was given the nudge, but he was given the pass there at the end. A big sportsmanship nod to Will Lyon for finishing P2. And Rashad Craig, great day for IAR, the second and third steps on the podium. Join Raceverse again next week for round 6 of the Indy Open Series Championship as we continue our international leg of the schedule with a stop at the Phillip Island circuit. Coverage should begin approximately 2 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. Again, that is 2 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/Raceverse. As always, check the official iRacing schedule for our channel for the correct time in your area. Raceverse coverage of the Indy Open Series is sponsored by Team Watson Racing Setups. Visit TeamWatsonRacing.com for all the setups you need in the Indy Open season. Use the code WATSPIN, WATSPIN 39 for 5% off your next purchase. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy and require time and money to produce. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the Indy Open Series, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our Indy Open Series broadcast fund today. Also, you can become a Race First Patreon member today. Visit patreon.com/racefirst to become a member. We realize times are tough, so any contribution will be greatly appreciated. And we thank you for watching and making us a part of your Saturdays each and every week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game, not an easy one to play, so please help support Race First with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below to let us know what you thought of today's race, and if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like on the video, just like that. Just that simple. We would appreciate it. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more of Race First iRacing programming, including Season 4 of 2022 of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split, which will be at Richmond next week. The continuation of the Race First Formula Indy Series on Tuesdays, which will be at the Daytona Road Course here in 2 weeks. And starting December 7th is the return of the Revolution Indy League's Schaefer's IndyCar Series. Keep your browsers set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. Race First, we know what Indy means. For business inquiries and learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. Here's all of our Twitter handles at the bottom of the page. Feel free to add us. There's Race First, there's myself, there's Antonio, there's Nick. We'd be happy to have you part of our profiles. So for Nick Sadiq, everyone at Race First, I'm Gary Gotzo saying to all, thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again next week as we take a trip to Phillip Island for the next race of the Indy Open Series. Good night.